You know, I told myself I wasn't going to make another video while I was on vacation, but I was watching the memorial service this morning for the Dallas officers, and I just decided I have to make this video. And I don't like making these types of videos because, like I said, I can't edit myself because I have no editing software, no computer, no nothing with me. But I wanted to talk about the hypocrisy of what he said. In his speech, he talked about how the Founding Fathers gave us the type of country that can fight against tyranny. And he goes on to talk about, how we have this elective republic that can, vote for our best interests and we can make changes without violence, etc. But he neglected to say that one of the major things that our Founding Fathers did so that we can fight against tyranny is gave the citizens the right to be as well armed as the military, law enforcement, the government, etc. Completely neglects to mention that part. It's kind of, like I said, it's a great deal of hypocrisy there when you say that, the way that the Founding Fathers wanted us to fight against tyranny was to be able to vote, for politicians that are then controlled by big money interests, corporations, and, big donors, not for the people, by the people themselves. That is, that's a big hypocritical thing to say. So you can't say one without the other. If you acknowledge the fact that they gave us the right to vote to fight tyranny, then you have to acknowledge the fact that they gave us the right to defend ourselves and to be well armed to fight tyranny. But you don't see him ever doing that. And then I wanted to talk about how he went even further and just blatantly lied about how we flood cities with so many guns and that it's easier for a teenager to get a hold of a Glock than it is for a computer or a book. Where in the world is it easier for a teenager to get a hold of a Glock than it is a computer or a book? That doesn't exist anywhere in this world, in this country at least, not in this country. It probably does exist in some places like Africa, etc., South Africa, but it doesn't exist here. It might exist in some, Middle Eastern countries, but it doesn't exist here. That kind of place does not exist here where a teenager can get a Glock easier than they can get a book or a computer. So I just want to point out that hypocrisy because it kind of made me mad. That you would, for one, that you would use the funeral of these fallen police officers to spout your political rhetoric that are based nothing but more than baseless lies. That you would use that opportunity to do that. And then that you would make up shit like that whole, it's easier to get a Glock than a book or a computer, because that's garbage. The only people that would believe that are morons. So I can't believe that you would do that. So if you're going to talk about what the founders wanted, and you're going to talk about what the founders did, well, how about one thing they spelled out implicitly, and that's that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. You don't seem to care what the founders thought about that. So, and obviously you don't care what the founders thought about our political system either, because you are one of the biggest puppets of big industry. You're one of the biggest puppets of the insurance agencies I've ever seen. So you, Hillary Clinton, all of you, right, left, Republican, Democrat, none of you care about what this country was meant to be, what the founders set up to do. That you don't care about protecting our freedoms. If you cared about protecting our freedoms, you'd make sure that no police department had more armaments than the people. No police department should be able to take out an entire city with just 20 of them because of the armaments they receive. Citizens should be just as well armed as their police and as sometimes as their military even. So although I'm not as worried about the military. I don't think every citizen, don't worry, I'm not thinking everyone should have an H-bomb or, a nuclear bomb or anything like that. But on a ground war, we should be able to take our numbers and overcome. But if you give it to where the small little amount of armaments you allow us to have can't overcome anything, if you only allow us to have like little semi-automatic pistols or single-shot revolvers, and then we can't overcome 1,000 of us, couldn't overcome 2 guys in an armored vehicle with that. So that's just not the way the founders wanted this country to be. So I just wanted to make this video to say, like I said, that it was such a hypocritical moment to sit up here and talk about what the founders wanted and how we're supposed to fight tyranny, and then with your next breath tell lies about the Second Amendment to undermine what the founders wanted. One of the main things the founders set up for us to be able to defend our liberties with and to fight against tyranny with. So, you just lose credibility every time you open your mouth lately. And I don't understand why. It's like before you go out of office, you want to push through your gun control because it's your main thing. It's like that's what you've been told by the insurance companies that they want rid of, because they don't want people out there with the means to hurt themselves, because then they have to pay out on policies. So they want everyone to be disarmed, helpless little sheep wrapped in bubble wrap, and you're helping them do that. So, because liberty and freedom is never safe. You're never safe when you're free. You're never completely safe. That's just part of being free. So you kind of have to choose one or the other. And if you choose safety over freedom, like Ben Franklin says, you really don't deserve either and you won't have either. So choose freedom. And don't listen to this crap that Obama's saying. In fact, Obama, shame on you for saying that kind of crap. Shame on you for politicizing this, and shame on you for praising the founders with one hand while you still actively undermine their whole ideas, and then totally ignoring and then even desecrating what they say with the other hand. All right. One of these days, I'll learn how to work this.